Welcome to Unhinged Magi! We're back. Here we go. We're having fun. And you know what's fun? When things get changed. And when they get changed, sometimes it's worse. Just like your cells dividing in your body. That DNA strand, that little tail thing gets smaller and smaller and smaller till it can't replicate right and you die eventually.
Unless the replication actually does do a nice even replication.
Yeah, but how often does that happen?
Pretty often.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that sucks. No, I'm just kidding.
And when it doesn't, it's cancer.
Yeah, that's right. Well, actually, there's a tail that keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller as you get older.
So there's less DNA material on after your cell division as you go on?
From what I understand, yes. And that's why they want to make these little tiny robots that go in and repair that cellular DNA. And then you can live forever!
So that's what they're saying aging is all based on now. Like a small degradation of the cellular reproduction.
Correct.
Huh.
Kind of makes sense.
It's an interesting theory. I hadn't heard that. I'll have to research that. Anyways, what we are talking about today is not cellular reproduction.
We're not?
Nope.
Oh, man. I did absolutely no research to get that done.
We're talking about the new CEO of Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, yeah. The other one passed away. Well, actually, it's not a new CEO of Wizards of the Coast. CEO of Hasbro.
So, CEO of Hasbro. Oh, okay,
Yes.
sorry.
There's a big difference.
Yes.
Okay. So, the CEO of Hasbro passed on. So now they have a new interim of Hasbro CEO. Now, he's kind of like a stand-in CEO, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he could potentially take the job, but maybe not. Maybe he doesn't really want the job.
They're test driving this person.
Exactly. Now, that guy could have an influential thing on our current Wizards of the Coast, right? Telling him to do stuff. I made a video on mine, on my channel, to actually tell that to tell him a good idea to how to make $1 billion and make a really deep impact on Hasbro.
So go to the Open Boosters channel if you want to see what it is he spoke about.
Right. So, but let's say he doesn't really want the job, and then another CEO is going to come in. Now, that CEO is going to have important tasks. He's going to want to make money. And you know what he doesn't know about? Wizards of the Coast. He doesn't know about the company.
Probably not. Most likely not. Unless he comes from Wizards, but not likely.
Exactly. So the CEO of any company coming in that knows nothing about the card game, well, isn't really going to care because it's just a widget to him. It's a box.
Yeah, so they're definitely going to have a lot of pressures around them as a primary goal to make money more than anything.
Exactly. If you're a CEO, your first objective is to make money. That's how you get to keep being CEO. You don't make money, you're out of a job.
So there's a problem with the American version of corporations as they go on after they've been initially created. And let me quickly explain. What happens when a new company starts? A company usually starts because somebody has an idea or they want to offer a good or a service, and they have a vision on what that good or service is going to be and what the benefit actually is. But as time goes on, the people that were the original visionaries and focused on the end product and what the purpose of that company and that product was, those people get old or they retire, they get bought out, various things happen. And as they're moving on in the company, they naturally bring up all these people underneath them, like marketing people, finance people, manufacturing leads and stuff. And the people that come into the company after the fact weren't the founders. They didn't have the passion and the vision that the original people actually had. So what often, not always, but what often happens in like typical American business is when those original people rotate out of a company, the people that are left sitting there holding the bag, they're not as visionary, they're not as innovation driven, they're not as end product focused, they're more profits focused, and that can really change the entire purpose and the development of that company over time.
Exactly. And you know what? You can actually see that in the current Wizards of the Coast, right? Because remember how the original sets were.
With under Peter Adkison?
Yes, exactly. Look at the artwork. What's the artwork like today as opposed to it being way back then?
There was pentagrams and there was like nearly topless women and stuff like that.
Yes, exactly. There it was, right? We are in a different era, and they've lost their pretty much vision. What happened to all the books? What happened to all the lore?
Yeah, I actually really liked it how they reached into like earthly lore, like with Arabian Nights and stuff like that. I actually thought that was really cool. It's one of my favorite sets ever.
Exactly. And things have changed over time, and you can see that the passion is kind of going away from what it originally was.
Yep.
Would you say that Wizards of the Coast currently is really passionate about the current card game, or is it more like, I want to make as much money in as little time as humanly possible?
I think they have passionate people in the company.
Didn't say they didn't have passionate people in the company.
And they have creative people in the company. But I think what drives the ship more than anything else is profits. I don't think they make a good product first and then make a profit from it second. I think they make a profit from it first and then try to make sure to make it as good as they can.
Exactly.
In that order is what it feels like now these days. And
Right.
you see that, just like look at the wallet fatigue side. The people talk about, us included, all the time, about how much they print and how often they rotate sets. I mean, I gave up on trying to keep up with Standard years ago because you spend all this money and time getting all these cards, and then you play in the Standard format, and then like now, like a month and a half later, it's like you got a whole new set you got to pick up.
Coming out. Let's go.
I mean, you
Here
barely
comes
start.
spoiler season, round 50.
You barely start to pick up what the meta of that card pool is and land on not only what are the best decks, but what are the best decks to counter those decks and keep them in check. And then after you've kept the best decks in check, what decks then rise to the top? Like, you only barely start to get that figured out, and then a whole new set comes in.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I kind of feel like metagame never really gets to mature. So,
Not really.
and they're definitely doing that. I mean, I don't blame them for wanting to make money. That's fine, right? But at the same time, when it like kind of ruins the gameplay and gives you wallet fatigue and you never get to experience a well-developed metagame, I think that kind of is a problem, honestly.
It is a problem. And I believe that's more of a envisionment or a desire from Wizards of the Coast to actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they really care as much as they used to about the actual game. Right?
Seems that way.
I think they more or less just care about how much their player base can give them as far as money. Let's look at how many secret layers that are coming out. All different kinds, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know that's a big cash cow. We're going to take that up a notch. You know, people like different artworks. Let's just go bananas and make every freaking collector box have 50 different versions of the same damn card.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Do we need to do that? Is that a thing?
I don't think so.
It seems kind of ridiculous. Right?
I do think so.
And so then we have a bunch of different cards, and which one's a valuable card? Who the hell knows? Which one will go up in value? Nothing. So the envisionment is changed, right? I mean, when we go back, I remember him, he only wanted the cards to be maybe $50 in value, but I'm pretty sure...
By he, you mean Richard Garfield?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like talking about foils can be more expensive. Right?
Well, yeah, because they're like effectively like a different version, just a reprint, high-end collectible version.
Exactly. But now we're talking about 50 billion cards of the same thing with a different artwork. Is there really any difference in anything?
It's kind of like when everyone's special, no one's special kind of thing is what it feels like now.
Exactly.
Like you see like a special full art foil showcase version, and it's like just as cheap as like the retro frame or something. And you're like, it doesn't make sense.
When we have foiled etched, retro etched.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what the hell are we doing?
What the hell are we doing?
It makes absolutely, it's up to me, they're doing things wrong. How many of you actually believe that the Modern Horizons 2 collector box, and I'm not talking about the cards that are in the box or the new cards that they've added, I'm not talking about any of that, but all the nonsense of all these different versions of cards that they decided to throw in there.
All the nonsense.
It's just, to me, it's just a bunch of freaking goo at this point. You know? They need to tone it back. Maybe put some old artwork in there. Maybe
I would like that very much if they did old retro artwork.
Exactly.
That would be very cool.
That would be awesome.
I know they have to pay the artist for it to do that old artwork, but
they
go
have
ahead
the
and pay
money.
the artists.
What the hell?
Yeah, they definitely do.
Right? They're printing as many boxes as they possibly can. They've cut some of the boxes down in price as far as their printing costs are concerned.
For sure.
They're now selling direct from Amazon. You can't tell me they can't afford to pay a couple artists a few freaking $100 to actually stick their art back into the freaking card.
Well, we know that they did to some degree. Remember when they did the time spiral and they did the time shifted cards?
Exactly.
They did actually have original art. I mean, like Flying Man, that was Arabian Nights.
Yeah.
That was in the time shifted set. And
Exactly.
that was a card that was the first expansion ever in Magic in 1993.
Yeah. Uthin Troll was in there too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
Psionic Blast.
can you imagine how much awesomeness that would be? Let's do Unholy Strength. Original art in the box. And if anybody says boo, who cares? Just do it.
Nike.
That's right.
Just do it, Nike.
Oh my
Buy
gosh.
up Wizards of the Coast and show them how to do it right.
Exactly. Come on. Let's do something that's like normal. Like from the original days.
So, you know what my fear is? Like, as, the story I was telling about, like, what happens to corporations in America, how, like, the visionaries and the people that want to make a good product first and they have a vision for what that good product is, they start to go by the wayside, and you get all these bean counters and finance people and stuff in. I'm a little concerned that the new CEO of Hasbro is going to be much more corporate and profit focused and less on let's make a good game and a good gaming company focused. I'm a little concerned about that. Now, the people in the company and the shareholders probably want this person to be that way.
They do, 100%. And I'm telling you now, that's why I was giving him that $1 billion idea. Because he should be desiring that. And you can add $1 billion to the bottom line.
But there's something to be said for, like, if you don't focus on the quality of your product, what's a short-term gain, long-term loss kind of thing? So if you do something in the short term to increase your profits in the next quarter, but now you make people lose faith in the game long-term, well, that's not necessarily a great trade. It's only great for your next, quarter of stock prices.
My plan lasts forever.
That's why he should be CEO. And then hire me once you're CEO.
Absolutely, 100%. That way I know if I'm doing something stupid.
And yes, man, no. I'm just going to go in the room and tell you that you're wrong.
Exactly.
All
That's
the time.
Best thing.
Wrong.
And then I don't do it until he tells me the third time, because then that's when I know I'm right.
Yeah. when there's a decrease in the no factor.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're maybe onto something. No, but seriously, I am legitimately a little concerned that the new CEO is going to be way too focused on profits and all this raising of box prices, reprinting of everything good that's ever been there in the set, the high speed at which these new cards pump out. I feel like that's all going to increase.
Yeah, wait till he gets an idea. If Cox goes in there and tells him, this is how master sets work, and this is how our current booster boxes are work. Our booster draft boxes don't sell as well. I'm sorry, what? Well, let's stop producing those, and let's produce something else.
Yeah, maybe they'll even do things of like all the Kaladesh invention masterpieces.
Yeah.
Those are gaining some good value right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so I think masterpieces are going to come back.
Yeah, so that's what I was just going to say. Like, maybe most people feel like these masterpieces are not going to come back, but those are not reserve list.
No.
They totally could. And if some new guy comes in and is like, hey, these are doing great. If I put Mana Vault and Mox Opal inside of a new box as the Kaladesh masterpiece, but you can get it in this box, we'll sell those things like crazy.
Exactly.
Who knows? Maybe he'll do that. What is that Mana Vault, like $1,000 right now for the masterpiece or something?
Yeah.
So yeah, they might put that in a box.
So there you go. So they might come up with these kind of crazy ideas, and that kind of might hurt your feelings a little bit.
If you're the guy that owns that card previously, yeah, that'll hurt a lot.
Right? He can actually do that, because you can demand it, and Cox would have to pretty much do it.
Also, as far as I understand, one of the reasons they don't, tell me if I'm off base. One of the reasons they don't reprint the original artwork as much is they had a different contract with the artists back with that original art. But I think the way that they do the contracts for the artwork with the newer cards is different than what they actually did on the artwork with the artists on the original sets. Point being, it might be a very different thing and much more expensive for them to go back to, say, Antiquities and reuse the artwork from one of the non-reserve list cards that was in there in Antiquities. I don't know, is Satano Druid, is that a reserve list?
I don't know, but I know
Scavenger Folk
what
or
about,
something.
Urza's Towers and mine.
Yeah.
You put those as original artwork.
Yeah, like the Mark
that would be
Tidden.
freaking huge.
Yeah, like the Mark Tidden like artwork with the original frame and stuff. Like if they decided to do that, I think they have to do like a different payment contract with Mark because based on what they did before versus the new ones. Now the reason why that matters is these masterpiece ones.
Matters, yeah.
The masterpiece ones were done in Kaladesh, and that was probably under a different legal contract.
Of course.
They could probably much more easily go back and redo those Kaladesh inventions and not have to pay the same amount of money as going back to like antiquities and redoing Mark Tidden's Urza's lands.
As pretend CEO, I'd probably have you come and tell me that idea. I would probably execute it.
No.
You can't tell me 3 times in order to make it happen.
I only did 2 no's. Okay,
know,
go for
so
it.
I guess it's not.
Yeah, go for it.
But anyways, so I think they could even make. I think Wizards of the Coast could actually Wizards of the Coast.
Wizards of the Coke.
That sounds bad.
Was that a Freudian slip? Were they doing a lot of drugs back then?
Maybe. Anyways, I think they should do the Urza's Tower mine original artwork.
That'd be very cool with retro frame.
With retro frame, and contact him and do a contract. That would sell huge. You put that into one of those secret layers. That would fly off the shelves, and I guarantee you, since that's print to demand, right? I think they would print like billions of them.
I don't know exactly what their print size is.
No,
is
I think
it
it's
demand?
print to demand.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Based on the number of orders?
Yeah, I think
so.
that's
So you're
how
telling
it
me
is.
there's a lot of Bob Ross lands out there?
Yes.
Damn it.
Well, I think that's how it does, right? It's print to demand now.
Maybe. I don't know. I still like them. Bob Ross.
But I'm telling you, that would fly off the shelves. It's not a $1 billion idea. It's, maybe $1 million. But I don't know. I have no idea what the print size is. But would you want to buy those lands? Let's say you don't have any of those lands. You were, after antiquities. Maybe you started around, I don't know, Kaladesh. Do you want Tron lands?
I would really like old school original art coming out of new cards. That'd be great.
It would be great.
I would love that. I would definitely love that. So please do that.
Exactly.
But anyways, yeah, so I carry a little fear over this new CEO. Time will tell. We'll see what happens. But I'll tell you, this is my takeaway. A new CEO in either Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro makes me feel like I'm going to clutch onto my old original print cards even tighter. Like not the new stuff, the old stuff, it's even more precious to me. Because everything newer, I think, is at more risk, in my opinion.
Well, of course. But yeah, I'm just saying. I think they need to go back a little bit. Let's bring out some cool artwork. Put some pentagrams in there. Maybe make an original demonic tutor or something extremely similar.
That'd be very cool.
I mean, demonic tutor. That artwork is fantastic.
It is, but that's one of the specific cards they got beat up over because being satanic or something like that.
Whatever.
Yeah, so that's like specifically one that they're probably like, oh, we're gonna get in a lot of trouble if we were to print this one.
Yes,
it's like literally they probably think that.
Get in trouble. Let's do some stuff. Print it.
There you go.
Right? I mean, if you make headlines, people are going to take a look at your stuff. That's the thing. It doesn't matter whether people like it or dislike it. If they talk about it, it's good. And it's demonic tutor. For crying out loud. Everybody loves that card.
It's a great
card. Talk to anybody in Magic the Gathering, if they've ever played Magic the Gathering, demonic tutor is a fantastic card. Put a demon with a book, put a pentagram in the head, put flames in the background, you got some art.
And a controversy.
Yeah, make them talk about it. That's what makes it go.
Okay, so what are your guys' thoughts on the new CEO of Hasbro? Are you concerned about it? Do you share our views?
Scratch that. You know what they should do? Put a My Little Pony with a demon on it, and put that as a demonic tutor, or have the My Little Pony being sacrificed, and then.
Okay, I take it back. Don't make this guy CEO. That would be a huge mistake.
Yes.
Don't do it.
Twilight Sparkle, big giant sacrificial knife. Whoosh!
Yeah, don't make him CEO. Huge mistake. Okay, and we're going to just end that there while he's having a conniption. Bye, everybody.
Oh my gosh.